All right. Hey guys. I think we're live. It's Nicole with Stay Wild Child. We are on conversation 39 today. And I have Shelly on with me. And I'm so excited that we get to chat today and have this beautiful conversation. I love it. Shelly jumped on and she said, okay, are we on conversation 39? And I said, yes, we are. And what did you say, Shelly? What was our message for today?
Self-expression, expansion, growth, joy, and the fact that it's a number 3 is clear communication.
Yeah, so this is going to be such a good conversation today. I love these conversations. Let me tell you, Shelly, the reason why I started these conversations, it was actually, Zoe Mack from the QRT tour. Do you know Zoe? Yeah. Okay. So her and I were chatting right around this time last year, because I spoke at the QRT tour in Kansas, and we were talking, and she said, you've got really good communication style. She said, have you ever thought about bringing just like incredible women on and talking to them? And I thought, my gosh, that's so brilliant, Zoe. Yes, I would love to do that. And so I have had the gift this whole last year of bringing women on, usually once a week. Every once in a while, it's a couple times a month, because we throw in a holiday, or I am out playing somewhere and I'm like, we'll just put it off till the next week. But I've had this honor of being able to speak with, have a conversation with women who are, I always learn something. Like there's always some nugget. I feel like it's women like really like stepping into their superpower. It's women just like saying, you know what, here I am, world, and I'm going for it. And that is what I have found, that every woman I have brought on the show has just, it's like this little whisper, right? It's like this little whisper. It's like you kind of like give other women permission to shine their light. And so that's what I hope this show is for a lot of women. And so thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for asking me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So we always start the conversation with kind of where you were before. So conversations with Stay Wild Child, my group, Stay Wild Child, it is all about helping women remember who they are before the world told them who they were supposed to be. So we get, a lot of times, I know for myself anyway, I was stuck in lots of shoulds. I was stuck in lots of, I wanted to, project this image. I'm a good mom, good wife, what, just kind of like all the societal, what I thought at that time were rules, right? Like achievements that you have to make, And so I realized like, oh my goodness, those are just some old stories and programs that I was really in, and started unpeeling those layers, and letting go of those things. And so why don't you share with us, if you don't mind, just kind of share with us where you were before, like an awakening, stepping into your power. Where were you before?
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Sure.
So I always feel like I was quite of like very similar, and didn't realize what was underlying running. I am a daughter of 2 law enforcement officers, and I'm the oldest child. So responsibility, right? Like nobody breaks the rules. We follow all the rules. We don't lie. We don't cheat. We don't steal, which are great values. And I still follow them. Yet being the oldest child, it's like, nope, I'm not even going to allow you to do it. So not realizing that I always had this, very intense, like following the rules person above all else. And mainly in the form of I would self-abandon my own feelings or thoughts that I wanted to do to make others happy. And that's not it anymore. I, realizing like how much I'm I discovered that I was just unmet, and I had so many unmet needs that I was like, how can I meet my needs? I do have 2 children, a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old. My lovely 17-year-old is going to close my door because I forgot I have a laundry going. So
it's all right.
and so she's a junior, and my son is 19, and he went off and joined the Navy this year. So just up and had a son, and now I have a son that I get a text and send kissy face emojis to. So I think that so I will just say that previously in that space of, you know, really not knowing who I was, and I want to just say quite being very like repressed. I was an alcoholic. And I always, like, my friends back then would have probably like, no, we all drink. It's fine. It's normal. No, like, I'm home alone. I'm drinking, having shots of Jameson, having a bottle of wine, and talking to friends on the phone. They don't know I'm drunk. Right.
Yeah.
So, at that place, it was normal. Everyone, all of my friends did it. My family is built on that foundation. So not stepping into a place of judgment about alcohol, of course, yet for me, it was trouble. I was like, okay, so I have this little phrase that I say, which will give some, like, I feel like, okay, here's a little piece of me. The question is, the question of deep change that happened for me was, Shelly, how many times do you need to wake up in jail wondering how you got here? 4 times. I needed 4 times for that to happen, right? So that young girl who never got in trouble hit 30 and was like causing all this trouble. And I'm just like, I had to be like, why are you doing this? Who are you? What are you? Like just taking all these pieces out, and, you know, now figuring out, okay, well, what do you want? If you're not going to be that person, then what is the person that you're going to be? And so then it's just been a lovely journey ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. So how long have you been sober?
3.5 years.
Oh, okay. All right. So we met a couple of years ago?
Last July.
The summer? Did you go to the summer QRT? Okay. Did you go to the one in Florida?
Nope.
No. Okay. Okay. All right. So you went to the summer. Yeah, you went to the summer. Was that okay? So I'm guessing, did you go through a rehab program of some sort?
I did over 1,000 breathwork sessions in my bathtub as my rehab.
Wow. Okay. So I want you to go into that. So I love breathwork. I have, I feel that for me, breathwork taps me into something that is, it's just, it's so different for me than just a regular meditation. I happen to have, and you know, it's something I know that I can shift, but I have a little bit of squirrel brain. And so it's like, oh, bright, shiny object, you know, and I've, you know, practiced yoga for a long time. And so I know about, you know, presence on your mat, you know, and quieting your mind and stopping the chatter. And I can practice at it for a period of time, but something about breath work and meditation, what it does for me is that it gives me that opportunity to, I guess, have something to do while I'm going into meditation. So those for me are my most powerful meditative experiences. And I had never even, so I'd always done like a little bit of yoga breath work because you know, I've been a yoga instructor for a period of time, but it was at a QRT tour in Miami where we did the group breath work. And then I know we did it again in Las Vegas. We did the group breath work, but that for me was just so powerful. So I love breath work for myself, but I love to do group breath work whenever possible. So do you mind sharing just a bit about the type of breath work that you did when you were, you know, going through this healing process?
Yeah, I automatically prejudged AA. I have this thing about finding the answers outside of me. I've never been able to. Like I couldn't have a therapist. Cause like I need to work through it, and I can tell that the world gives me what I need. So
Yeah.
um,
Right.
so I was like, okay, I'm not going to go to AA. What am I going to do? Well, I was already a massage therapist, and then we did a little breath work in our massage school. Well, then
Yeah.
in St. Louis, we had this school. So I did 20 weeks of a training. And then I was like, okay. I went back, right after that, went and trained with Leonard Orr, who is the father of rebirthing, right? He's the original breath worker in the United States, even though there's some people that were a little ahead. So after I came, we did a lot of snorkel breathing in the bathtub. And I kid you not, I could not stay awake, right? I could not stay awake when I was just sitting there laying down breathing. And so it was almost as if my spirit had told me when I got home, because I have a big bathtub, and spirit was like, okay, go get in the bathtub. Like, do the snorkel breath. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And it was almost like the imagery was because if you fall asleep, you're going to drown.
Right.
And you got to stay.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, you're good. Yeah. Right.
Right. So I actually got to just start practicing being aware of my breath. When did I leave? Start becoming aware of the thoughts that were coming in. What did my feet feel like? What did my pelvis feel like? Every piece of my body start to just say hello and be in it. And then it became like, I have to do this every day, because I knew that it was really changing. And I got to this place where I loved it, right? It was the highlight of my day. And then there were moments where I would practice on the outside. I was like, okay, I'm almost there. I can almost do breath work on the outside. And then, but it ended up becoming my time with myself, which I did not, like when I look back now, I realized it was my first time being with myself. First time, like, great, this hour of this day, there is nothing else but me. And so having that, what at first I thought was this very selfish moment, ended up like being able to be so empowering and change the way that I even thought about my time and how I'm caring for myself. And so then I started practicing putting ice in the bathtub and then taking ice baths and still doing breath work, and loved it. Like, I do kind of enjoy a little bit of extremes. I like to know where this wall is, and then like play in between. But it tests you, right? It tests your, breathwork is this almost a testing of perseverance, right? Or an opportunity to persevere through adversity, right? If you're breathing through in the place, like I had a lot of stomach adhesions, and I've done a lot of fascia work, and so when I would breathe into them, that's just belly, abdomen area, like I'd want to only go a little bit, and it was like, well, what about just a little bit more? And so then it was like full belly breaths, open and expansive. And it's like, wow, okay, so slow, right? So it just helped me realize, like, okay, because I'm always like, hurry up, let's get it done, which is a program, right? Like, oh yeah. Yes. So the slowness, like, can I take my time and like be with my abdomen as she releases?
Yes. I mean, it has been for me, 2020, and I know that, this is prior probably for you because you stepped into this breath work, but I had a time wound myself, the hurry up and get it done. I think, probably as Americans, I would imagine majority do. And so, but this year, especially in my food, that was something that I was hurrying. I was always hurrying. What meal can I cook the fastest? And, when you have kids at home and you're thinking, oh, we gotta, hustle because activities and, everything else. I think that I probably, that contributed to it. But I just made a post about this in Stay Wild Child. Was this year I have been so intentional in my food creations, really, blessing my food and thinking about the spices I'm adding and that type of thing. And that's just helped so much with my time wound. This is like taking care of yourself. And so this breath work, this time in the bath, it's being with yourself. And I think we just forget. We forget to do that. So I'm assuming that as you're doing this breath work and as you're breathing into these spaces, I'm not sure if you know Liz Martins. She was on my show. She's with the Quantum Revolution Tour also. We became friends. But she is a Reiki master, and she has completely cured herself of seizures through Reiki attunement. And so when you're doing this breath work, I'm assuming you're focusing on, you said like your abdomen. So you're focusing on certain areas. And so just bringing breath in and in healing, is this your focus? Is it like a self-love focus? Is it a healing focus? Is it just simply setting the intention? And do you teach this to other people? Is that what Ascension Wellness Advocate is?
That's kind of the new thing this year.
Okay.
So a little this year, in 2020 was going to be my education year, my specializing year in trauma-informed world, trauma-informed body work, and how to be a community leader. And so I started these 2 classes in January, projected all the way out until October, and I've been in it, right? Well, in the meantime, in February, my sister passed away, and my son left, and my marriage is transitioning as we speak. And so there's this part of me that's like, I can sit back in this observer space and think, Shelly, this has been a hell of a year for you, right? However, looking at it, yes, and learning how to reach out to other people, not isolate, hey, do you have mental capacity for me to sit and chat for a minute? Or, really creating a deeper relationship with my daughter and realizing how well I'm still feeling, right? Like, because those practices are so ingrained now that it is well in my soul. And I felt that. I think that if I had, this experience these 3 years ago where the trauma was really still in that space, I would have, I don't know. I couldn't imagine what.
Yeah. I love that, because I use that hashtag all the time. We're all just practicing together. But what happens is you build these practice muscles. And so when life admits all these changes that you're not probably ready for, even though you are a life path 5, so you probably are okay with a little bit of change, but that's a lot of change. Yeah. Have you been able to continue the classes during this year?
Oh yeah, I completed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I feel like it was because I was in community with these people that it wasn't, because everyone was having their own moments and I would be able to be there for someone else, and really just seeing how alone we aren't, right? We're not alone. And in my world, back when I was a child, isolation was the thing, right? I would grab a book, I would sit with a book, and I would never move from that book until it was finished. And it seemed that I was kind of left alone when I was reading. And so that became the thing. And after my sister passed, though, this year, I was in a loop. I discovered I'm in a loop. And that was a very familiar loop from previous years. And I was like, okay, I'm going to change this. And so then my son joined the Navy. Like, not out of the blue, because I knew he was going to do it, but it was kind of out of the blue a little. And I feel like it was probably because he got to witness his whole family being in grief. And he was just like, I got to go, y'all. I love you, but I'm going to go into the Navy. So, and so I actually got to, like, for 3 or 4 days, I saw myself wanting to go into this loop again. And I was like, whoa, I see it now. Let's change it. Like, what can I do? And being in this trauma-informed group that I was in, it helped me be able to give myself the languaging of, okay, what do I need to do? What do I actually need right now to get up and go make myself some food? And instead of like laying in bed or doing nothing or allowing myself to get lost in isolation and I'm surrounded by no one, right? So having the tools is key. And knowing and trusting that I can go to these tools that I have created a relationship with, because now I have a relationship with myself. Like, I will not abandon myself now.
Right.
And she knows that, right? Spirit knows that. Like, okay, great. Like, here's an opportunity. And so then when my marriage started transitioning to where I knew that it was in a full transition, immediately, no loop. And it was like, great. You know, because it's not a bad goodbye. It's a very good goodbye. And it's just this like, okay, I have these tools here and I'm not going, you know, I'm going to use them and I'm going to share them with him and I'm going to share them with you. And I'm going to just be that person now and not dim anymore. There's no more dimming. So the Ascension Wellness Advocate that came through was a long time ago in 2012. I feel like my spirit guides started knocking on my door.
Okay.
And whenever I wasn't drinking, they would flood me with information. Because I would have like maybe a 6-week binger and then I would have a week free. And so then they would fill everything and like, and so then I started learning about like meditation. I became a Reiki master. I learned about the light body. I learned about just energetic anatomy and just interest, right? I was like, oh, what is this? Chakras, right?
Right.
And so it was like always in between. And so then there was a major catapult after I did stop drinking, because then there was just this open space, yet all this trauma that was still held in the body. And so, you know, the first year and a half was me releasing it with breath work, being there with myself, journaling. And then this year, it's been just this, what feels like a fire hose of all of the, like, just everything kind of integrating.
Wow. I'm just I'm actually a little bit speechless because I'm so impressed with your I'm in awe of the way that you have taken things that could have really sent anybody back spiraling, and you've just implemented them and moved forward. Bravo on your tool belt, girl. You need to get like a little I don't know, like a little I'm thinking like a bumper sticker or like a patch that you sew on a jacket that says, hey, you got your tool belt on. I don't know, something for, you know, when you're helping your clients. I don't know, something like oh, let's see, I've got this right here on my desk. It's just a little Jen Sincero thing, but it's a badass button. You're a badass, you know, hero. It's just a badass button, but I think like, you know, tool belt, right? Like, so just so everybody can remember, oh, tool belt. What are my tools, right? And so, wow.
What do I have accessible right now? What's accessible right now in this moment? Right? Because I had a client that just called me. He was thinking of harming himself, right? And so I'm like, great, let me call the police, let me call mental health practitioners, let me do everything. And then I was like, whoa, wait. And he's like, no, I'm not in that place. I've heard about breath work and I need to do this and I want to. And I was like, oh, okay, wow, I could do that. I can be there for you for that. And I was just like, in that moment, in that split moment of that mirror, was like, oh wait, of course you're the professional in this moment. Like, can you be here and have this acceptance for him in this moment? You've been there. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's why he's coming. Oh yeah. Okay. Trusting.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I
So are
appreciate
these, go ahead.
I appreciate what you said. I feel like that's my
Sorry.
actual. No, it's
There we go.
perfect.
Okay, go ahead.
It's actually, I feel like as this year's gone on, like, because now all like the last 2 months, the question has been like, okay, who am I and what's next? Because, like within 3 years, a complete human was able to change, right? So that to me means if I can do it, everyone can do it.
Everyone can.
And when you say yes, right? Those that
Right.
there, it's not me to say that, right? Yet, and then I'm feeling like, I think that's your mission, right? Like, if one can change, even through horrible conditions,
Yes.
because humanity is kind of hard.
Mm.
We have every emotion available, every spectrum available, and there's way more negative feelings than there are good feelings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where I feel like I'm stepping in to like, okay, great. I'm this now. And I have been this all along. Just there were conditions that taught me that I wasn't.
Yeah. Right. Yes. You have just stepped into exactly who you were supposed to be. You said yes to you. And that's really what Stay Wild Child is about. It's about saying yes to yourself. It's, yeah, we get conditioned into yeah, believing that we're supposed to be a certain way. And good girls don't speak like that. And there's so many different things that are going on in my head right now. And so, but yeah, when you truly, and here's the thing I love about it. It's like when we are stepping into our own true self, when we're saying yes to ourselves, it simply just gives people the freedom to do the same, to step into their own unique gifts. And and you're right, in their own timing, whenever they decide to make that decision to do that. So yeah, it's going to be very impactful. I have somebody who I think that I want you to speak to. So how are you doing this now? So are you, you considered a life coach? Are you, what does it look like? Are you doing groups? Are you specifically seeking out, like, are you primarily working with people who have struggled with alcohol? Tell me a little bit about that.
I love that all things are on the table right now. I'll share. I was a little worried about getting on here today because I was like, well, I don't have the what's next part, right? However, I do, right? Like my mission is to create community with people that don't have community. Like, how many little pillars of light are wanting to turn on, but they don't see the other pillars of light. So, okay, great. I'm going to be the brightest shining light that I can so that other people can come. And then when you get other people together, they're like, oh my gosh, my family. Of course, you've been here all along. So, which is that mission. Something that came through a couple of days ago was that I am very intent on writing my book. So I've just been pushing it off and pushing it off, but I have a goal date that I set 2 years ago. And I'm just like, you're getting really close, really close. So yes, I have been doing, the beauty that I learned this year is that breath work and the trauma releasing body work that can be done online. And why?
Yeah.
Because energy is energy and it flows everywhere and there's no barrier, right? I can step over into your side of your room and you can feel me right there. So
Yeah.
there has been a little responsibility piece for me this year, because I realized in this trauma training that the language that I have sometimes been using has been maybe potentially harming, because sometimes our spiritual community, whoever that is, like, we get into this, oh, you can do it, right? Yet if they don't have the tools, we need to start where they are, instead of like, here's all this, and so like, I want to get really clear with, here's this tool, start with this tool, right? And that's why I always start with breath work, with breathing. That first, like, just 5 breaths, resetting the nervous system, maybe that is all they need for that day.
Right.
And I am completely okay with that, because before I'd be like, no, we're going through this whole thing. Yeah, there's this process we're going to go do. And it's like, no, I need 5 breaths, and I need you to sit back and accept me. Oh, okay, I can do that now. Right? I feel like I've gotten myself out of it. Like you have to follow this process that I learned in this way, exactly this. And it's not that. That's me just perpetuating, so much stuff onto you.
Yeah. So people where they are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have met a team of people that I am going to help me in the technology world, and like learn how to do the stuff that I just don't know how to do. So, I mean, of course, I've done my own website, and I'm still doing individual sessions. I'm still seeing people at my office, right? There are people that are like, there is no coronavirus. I'm coming to your office because I'm a mess, or like, I want to continue to feel good, and I'm just, okay. So the last 11 days have really changed for me, because I have been off Facebook. So I am a little in shock, just a little, because there's this whole world that I didn't realize was kind of there. Like, in the form of, I've been so addicted to the school, right?
Yep.
I was on Facebook when it was only college students, and like that long ago. And ever since I've put it down, I have had more enriching face-to-face conversations. I have felt the flow that everyone talks about, like, oh, go here now. What? I'm going to this restaurant, or I wasn't going to this restaurant, and then I hear Spirit say, oh, hey, go to Rootbound. Oh, what? Go there right now. And I'm like, it closes in 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes away. Go there. So I go there, and in walk, like, my friends. I had 6 hugs that day. Really? In that moment, I got there. There were 6 people I knew, and I was embraced by 6 people. And I had thought that morning, like, God, I miss hugs. And I hug my daughter, right? But it's just my daughter and I here right now. And I at the end of the day, looking back, reflecting, I'm like, I woke up thinking, I miss hugs. And then I had 6. It was beautiful.
That is beautiful. That's so interesting. So I noticed that you were, taking a social media break, and I thought, oh, wonder if she's still going to want to do this show. And, I'll be honest, I've thought a lot about social media over 2020. Obviously you get the chance to get triggered and then step back and think, okay, why did that trigger me? And so you do get the opportunity for that. However, I don't blame you one bit for stepping off of social media, because it's, I've thought about it myself. And then here's something that plays in my head. I have grown a direct sales business on social media. My group, Stay Wild Child, is on social media. I know that there is an addiction part for me in social media. I know it. I'm admitting it. Haven't, so this is something that has played around in my head a lot, especially this year. And it's like, okay, so this is really reworking everything. And are you ready for that? Or are you ready for that? Or are you ready to create some structure and have some smaller, smaller tidbits of time, right? That I do, because really my work has kind of been on social media. And so it is yeah. What was your decision? What, just because of the energy? Is that why? Or is it because you noticed that there was an addiction there?
Oh yeah, there's been an addiction.
Do you mind if I ask you that? I mean, that's, yeah.
No,
okay.
No, there's been an addiction for a long time.
Yeah.
My thumb feels good right now. I'm so surprised, like, wow, you really had an issue.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
I oddly pulled, I had been getting the message, like, maybe we need to take a Facebook break. And because I'm not really on anything else. And I was like, I don't know. And I felt like everything puckered up. And I was like, no, I don't know. No. And I was like, and so of course, observer Shelly's like, now you know that means that your nervous system just responded to that and you might need to do that. Okay. So I pulled an oracle card and it said unplug from mass consciousness. And I actually saw the Facebook app on my phone get put into the trash can.
Well, that's a clear freaking sign. You're like, well, shit. Are you sure? Let me pull another card. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, that's pretty freaking clear. That's as clear as day. Yeah.
It was really clear.
Yeah.
And the morning when I woke up, I did not feel like there were cords on me. And normally, now, this is how social media is actually how I connect with some people in my family and in life. And I am ready to have that conversation of what does it look like in a more structured way, because I do like my business stuff being on there as well. And there is a part of me that wants to be available. But what I realized is I was constantly available, right? People had access to me at 24 hours a day. And as I'm like, okay, I wake up, full energy. And then it's noon and I'm like, why is my energy gone? Well, I've had my hands in 16 conversations already and already like in other people's space. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can look at that. And so now I'm ready to have that conversation of like, okay, well, what does it look like if there is a little bit of restrictions? And
yeah, I'll be honest, being in a direct sales business, I have questions from a lot of different people. And it's interesting because, yeah, I'm available all the time. And so in my mind, for me, that has helped me build a very successful business because my availability, right? I can always answer, right? And yeah, somebody has a question. Oh, I'll help you, right? However, it doesn't matter how many, little energy bubbles, you protect your energy with, it's still, right? There's still a response there. There's still yeah. And so you're still like, at some points I'm like, shit, I don't want to answer all this, and yeah, it can be exhausting. Wow. Very interesting.
I feel like I am in the place where I want to have direct experience, right? So this year taught me how to regulate my nervous system and my own self, right? So if I can come up into a stressful moment and regulate my nervous system in the moment, whoever I'm with will regulate their nervous system, right? This is co-regulation. And so what I realized is that challenge accepted, right? I'm like, Like, I'm always like, bring the adventure. Like, we're going to practice regulating. So last night I had a perfect example of, ooh, I don't know if I want to go there. I've been a little bit of a rebel lately, not wearing masks.
Oh
And
yeah,
like,
me either.
and seeing what it's like walking in and, oh, you want me to wear a mask? Okay. Like, I will. Right. But
Right.
walking in, like, I'm not wearing it. So last night I walk into this restaurant and I would just walk in and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm here. Can I have a table? And they're like, you got to have a mask. And I was like, oh, from to walk here to there. And they're like, yeah. And then this woman behind me. And so, and I'm clear, like, okay, great. I understand.
Sure.
Had a mask in my pocket, and this woman behind me yells and said, "You're putting all of us at risk."
Oh, shit. Oh,
And
shit.
I noticed the nervous system like went, and it wanted to go straight to fight. And I turned around, I looked at her, and I love this woman already so much. She had an inhale, exhale shirt on and reminded me, yes, I will breathe right now. Thank you for self-policing me, right? For policing me, and I will breathe. Yet it was such an opportunity to be like, okay, there were 2 people, and then another person came, and there were 3 people in that moment. And I was like, okay, we're practicing, right? Like, I'm not going to invite like all these situations in my life. Like, I don't want negative situations like that. I just,
Right.
in the moment, things of, you know, especially if there's like an old belief I have that, oh, it should be this way. And like, oh, does it have to be that way now? Like, is that present for you now? Do you believe that now? No, I don't actually. Let's get rid of that.
How incredible that is that you've really turned on like the signs. You're like, just anytime, I mean, it seems to me that what you're saying is anytime your nervous system, anytime you have a little trigger, there's the sign. I mean, because I mean, your oracle card was clear as day. Here's the sign. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See the Facebook, going in the trash.
Well, it's
here's the here's the breathe
knowing
sign
I'm
right
creator.
here. Huh?
Right? This is a whole nother conversation we could possibly have, but it's knowing I'm creator, right? I'm co-creating, right? So
Yes.
if I'm a co-creator, that means I have to step in.
You have the answer. You always have the answer there for you. It's right at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Just put the sign up for me. I see it. I'm creating this.
Yeah. I'm not the amount, like, I know, I don't even know if this is proper language, but I understand that, you know, we're ushering in a new way of being and living, and that there is this consciousness that's available for anyone that wants to, you know, go through those layers of continuing to elevate and rise to, like, just, I feel like raising your vibration, right? It's such a buzzword, but what does it mean? It just means we're going to increase that frequency, right? Can I remove myself from anger and maybe think about love? And whoop, right? We go right up into that space.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there is a reward, right?
Yeah.
There's a reward for letting go of anger and rage. There is a reward, and that reward is actually feeling love and being in a place of embodiment. You know, we're embodying our spirit. Like,
Yes.
that for me, I did not realize that this year would actually make me as spiritual as it did.
Right.
Like,
I didn't either.
I'm like, wow, okay, so this is what we're doing now.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I totally agree with you. I've said this so often. I've had so many aha moments this year, and it was probably because I gave myself time. So I have to tell you, I've been working this out in my head as you and I have been having this conversation, and I'm like, okay, I want more of those moments. And so this distraction right here, right? Putting some limits on that, so that I can still continue to run a group and a business and that type of thing, yet not be not be consumed, so that I have the signs. Because I already have all the answers in front of me, just giving myself the opportunity to let them in even more than they've already come in. They've
When I
come in
feel like we get
look
those
at your cat.
signs,
I love it. Your little kitty jumped up in the back. I love cats. They're so cool. They're like,
and of
hello,
course,
I'm here on the conversation.
she always likes the tree behind, and I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
a little spray bottle.
yeah.
I always feel like we will get signs like online and stuff, which I had gotten, yet
Sure, me too.
I'm really curious now because this is my reality, right? The like flesh, like and of course, no. So being able to like experience actual like seeing the shift, seeing the changes, because you know, you see it. I feel like I was just distracted, and
I understand.
then I would
What
want to
you're
do
resonating.
something. Yeah, I would. And then I would want to do something, and oh my gosh, there was this awesome conversation that happened, or somebody had an awesome meme or something.
Yeah.
So, and then you don't realize like, oh, how much time I just spent on that. So,
Yeah.
it just like I always knew like, oh well, you know, let me just see what it's like not having it, not being on it. Like, and it took 4 days. Like I lost my mind. I was like, what is this? Like, it felt like I had quit smoking and quit drinking all over again.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, dopamine levels are rearranging. Like I'm imagining every like receptor. I was like, it's okay. Remove some receptor sites for social media dopamine, right? Like,
Right.
so
Right. It is. It is. It's a total dopamine hit. It totally is. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So it's just been a fun experience.
Yeah. I mean, especially, I mean, I'll use myself again, because even at the Quantum Revolution tour, we didn't put this part in, but we were really going to have a part around branding yourself on social media. That was kind of kind of a part that we were going to add to it. When I spoke around play, but we were going to talk about this social media bit, because I have been working on that, for such a period of time. I, grew the business on social media, all that kind of thing. And so it's like this lifeline for me that I've created. Yet I know that, it's also fed an addiction. Wow. This is such a great conversation. I'm so glad that you were able to come on today, because, and I didn't know what your reason was for jumping off of social media. I didn't know what you were going to say, whenever we were talking about it, but very nice.
Well, and it feels like right now, there's this part of me that is judging where I'm at right now because I am in the unknown.
Yeah.
But when I ask myself and like really ponder, like I'm actually really excited because now that I understand, like, okay, this is how I want to use my focused imagination, right? This is what I want to create. This is what I want to have. Now I get to like pause and have that practice. And if I was so full of everything, like all these classes, these 2 classes that I was in, like I didn't have that space. And now this key integration space for me, it's like I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza, and it was this like he calls it like this, just the space of the unknown. And there's this part of me that's like so excited to find out what's next, right? Like I'm like, yes, I am available for that next, what's next. And because I feel so whole and full of like, yeah, let's whatever and wherever is going to be created is just like is going to get all of me fully, versus you get this half that's a little wishy-washy and this half over here that has issues stuck in, being 6. So it's like, no, that's great. I feel my 6-year-old's healed. She feels good. She wants to play now. Like, and I'm like, bring me the people that want to play.
Yes.
And create.
Yes. Good stuff, love. So I normally kind of wrap us up with how can people connect with you. And so I tell you what, since you are on a little bit of a social media break, which is great, I love it. Why don't is it all right to provide your email address?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And breathmama.com, people can still schedule sessions with me. I have sessions and
great.
Still open.
breathmama.com. I love it. Yes. So I'll put all of that information in our live feed, and really, really incredible conversation today. See how easy that was?
It was. Yes.
Yeah.
You helped me just let go of any persecution stories of not being able to speak truth. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, your truth is absolutely, it's going to impact someone today. I know it impacted me. And so I'll just kind of work through that. Maybe I need to pull a few cards myself, see what that looks like as far as, taking the next step forward and giving myself that time. Because time has been such a big thing for me this year. And I've noticed, I've watched those wounds heal. And so, there's another piece to that. I have more time to give, and I just need to step into that.
Well, put me on your list of people to call and text, because that has been pretty key of okay, I'm not on there, but what humans in real time want to have space or have availability or send me funny pictures or,
Yeah.
Picture my cat.
Right. Yes, exactly. I sure will, Shelly. Well, I will, I'm going to get you this YouTube link once I pop it on there. I usually leave the live going for a couple days in the group, and I'll get you the YouTube link over. And thank you so much for being a part of my show today. And I know that your story has been very empowering for a lot of ladies in our group. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Have a good one, girl.
You too.
All right, guys. We'll be back next Monday. All right. Conversations with Stay Wild Child. We'll see y'all soon. Bye, girl.
Bye.